Hey everyone, welcome back to the Slanted Attic Experience. I'm Tyler, and today we've got a fun one with Richmond native and music junkie D Mills. He's a guy who can talk March Madness like a pro, laugh about his very mediocre golf game, and still find time for jam band road trips. This week, we're breaking down the Sweet 16, why this year hasn't had many upsets, UVA's new basketball coaching hire, and if college sports are losing their way with NIL deals and the transfer portal. Plus, we'll hit the 2025 Masters favorites, WAR and baseball, huge NBA and NFL contracts, and a little Richmond music talk along the way. New episodes drop every other Monday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with a few surprises in between. You can catch them all at .cards/slanted attic. Let's get into it. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Slanted Attic Experience. Today we have a guest in person for the first time on the podcast, one of my favorite people to golf with. I'd like to welcome D Mills. So without further ado, just introduce yourself and we'll get right into March Madness.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on. Excited to be here. How much detail do you want me to go into?
Just base level, whatever you want. I mean, whatever you'd like to share about yourself, to give the viewers or the listeners a basis. We don't have video yet. Working on that. Got a couple cameras, but yeah, whatever you'd like people to know about you before we get started.
Yeah, sure. D Mills, which is short for Daniel. Leave last name redacted. I'm your typical 31-year-old mediocre golfer. Working tech right now for a small startup.
Love it.
Here in Richmond, Scott's Addition area. Enjoyer of music, craft beer, college sports. Nothing probably too terribly different from your average run-of-the-mill guest here on the Slanted Attic.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we love to talk about all of the things you listed above. So, since it is March, latter half of March, we've got the Sweet 16 coming up this Thursday, the 27th, I believe. So the first two rounds have already completed, including the play-in games and all the conference championships. What do we think? I mean, Duke's made a strong impression. We've got a couple other guys, but no real underdogs this year.
No. As far as my bracket is concerned, I'm actually sitting fairly well.
Really?
I do have Florida win it all. My whole Final Four still alive. I think I have to double check. I think I have either 12 or 13 of the Sweet 16 picked correctly.
Damn.
So yeah, I have the Gators win it all. Obviously the SEC has had an incredibly impressive year, historic, the best year any conference has ever had on paper.
It's crazy.
So yeah, I mean, it was tough. When I was filling out my bracket, my initial Final Four had 4 SEC teams. Had to go back to the drawing board a little bit just because I don't think it's going to pan out that way. But I mean, I could easily see. I mean, I have 2 teams in there from the SEC. I could see 3 out of 4 from the SEC.
Absolutely.
But I think that's honestly a little bit of a harbinger more for some of what's wrong with college basketball. We can get into that. We can discuss the upcoming matchups in a little more detail.
Absolutely.
But I mean, for the first time ever in this year's NCAA tournament, the Sweet 16 did not include any seeds 13 through 16.
Really? It's the first time.
First time. Well, maybe not the first time. First time in a long
time.
Anyway. I want to say the stat that I'm referencing, the first time since sometime in the 80s even.
Sure.
So I mean, we don't have any real upsets. Obviously, that 12-5 matchup, you're always going to expect some sort of upset. Obviously, we saw that with McNeese State over Clemson, which was a little surprising.
Yep.
Not really.
ACC's weak this year. I mean, I thought Clemson was kind of come out of the gate ready to go, and after that first half, it was over. I mean, morale's down.
I mean,
it's over.
I'll tell you, as a college basketball fan, for Clemson to see McNeese State in their draw at the 12 seed line probably made all Clemson fans roll their eyes a little bit. That's not a matchup that you want to see that in the first round.
Sure.
And I get the frustration. They probably should have been seeded a little bit higher, but there's so much talent from the SEC and the Big Ten. I mean, they won close to 30 games, but to put them above that 5 seed would have been tough without winning the ACC tournament. Just because of how weak the ACC was. But yeah, I mean that was the only 12-5 upset. We had one 11 seed in there in Drake, who made a really valiant effort against.
They almost had it.
Yeah, who was it the other night that they faced? I watched the entire game.
Texas Tech.
Yeah, Texas Tech. So almost saw them sneak through to the Sweet 16. But I mean, yeah, no real huge upsets, no Cinderellas, so to speak.
They got Arkansas.
Yeah,
but,
Arkansas is a 10 seed from the SEC, but
right, and I feel like that was a team that kind of a lot of people expected to make
yeah,
it almost this far, if not lose in the
yeah.
last
I
round,
mean,
maybe.
well, they had St. John's in round one, and I mean, Patino has done a hell of a job coaching them to get them to where they are now as a second seed. Some people thought they should have been a one seed.
St. John's?
I watched them play several times this year. I'm a Virginia guy, as you know, so I watched them take on my Wahoos early in the season. I think it was like one of the Thanksgiving tournaments.
Uh-huh.
I mean, my God, they were fantastic. So, I mean, I have some people in one of my groups that had them winning it all.
Really?
And I know several people that had them in the Final Four.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, I can root for a team like that. I mean, at the end of the day, though, they're still coached by Coach Cal. Calipari is their coach. So I mean, can you really be a Cinderella when you have a coach like that at the helm? That's debatable, but I mean, what stands out the most to me is that not only do we have any lower seeds making sort of a Cinderella run, but we only have 4 conferences represented in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
We have the ACC, the SEC, the Big 10, and the Big 12.
The ACC barely.
The ACC, Duke's carrying the torch.
Yeah, it's the first time ever, I think, that all but one ACC team lost in the first round.
Yeah.
Because, what was it? Clemson, UNC,
and Louisville.
And Louisville, that's right. I had both Clemson and Louisville. I had, ACC homer. I shouldn't have done that. I should have been more strategic with my bracket.
Well, I mean, that's been a narrative all years, the ACC having a down season. So,
absolutely.
I didn't have a ton of faith in a lot of those teams getting past the round of 32. And I think I did have Clemson in my Sweet 16. I had Duke. But I mean, that's the state of college basketball today.
Yep.
With all that's going on with NIL, revenue sharing, and the transfer portal,
yep,
we're going to start to see stuff like this happen a lot more. And I mean, I'm sure you've already seen the buzz on social media. People are saying that this is the least exciting tournament.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously that's a very subjective thing to a lot of people. If your team's still alive, it's probably a great tournament.
Right. Absolutely.
But I mean, yeah, having a Cinderella sort of gives everyone whose team missed out or got eliminated early someone to root for, and there's fan bases from across the country will unite in rooting for this. Who was it last year? Like Oakland University in Michigan.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
St. Peter's a couple years ago.
Yeah. Any of these fun teams.
We don't have that.
Yeah.
We only have the Power Four conferences. The Big East is completely out. UConn was there. Last up, going for the 3-peat. A lot of people thought that conference would have a little bit of a stronger showing, but they didn't. But we'll see. I've got Florida winning it all.
Me too.
And I still think that the championship game is going to be 2 SEC teams. It could be a rematch of the SEC championship. So that'll be exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think with NIL and new transfer portal rules, all this revenue sharing, do you think that'll create more or less parity amongst these large and small schools, non-major conferences? I hear all the time on ESPN radio about the Atlantic 10, and what's the other small one that is it VCU or
VCU's in the A10?
They're in the A10. What is Richmond in then? They're in
they're
something.
In the A10.
Are they in the A10?
They're rivals in the A10.
Well, JMU then. They talk about JMU, Richmond, and VCU.
Colonial.
So my sister played field hockey. They were in the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
But I think that was different than football because football took a jump to like a smaller mid-major conference. I don't know. I could be wrong. But anyway, I wanted to talk about y'all are getting a new coach.
Yeah.
Are you not?
No, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what you think.
I like the hire. I mean, obviously the narrative of Coach Odom beating UVA as the 1-16 matchup in 2018 already has and will be beaten to a pulp. So can't wait to hear about that every single game of the upcoming season. I like it. I watched his introductory press conference yesterday. Pretty familiar with him already. Interesting that he's coming from VCU, just down 64 to Charlottesville. I think that's ultimately more of a coincidence than anything. It just worked out that way. So I don't think the proximity had anything to do with the search committee's decision. But I like him. He obviously knows how to win. He knows how to win quickly. He's taken 3 programs to the NCAA tournament within his first couple years there. I mean, I arguably think his short stint at Utah State was probably the most impressive. I mean, that was a team, and I mean, people can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, because I may be, but I think they had very little success in the years leading up to that. So for him to take them to the NCAA tournament in year 2 at a school like that was impressive. And then VCU has a little bit more of a rich tradition of basketball, but 20 plus wins in his 2 seasons there, and obviously dominated the Big Ten this season. Almost pulled it off against BYU. Oh, well, they hung around for the first half. Got a little bit closer towards the end, but the one thing that stood out to me is he knows how to navigate NIL. He made sort of a landmark sort of decision by making VCU players the first team, I think maybe in the country, where the players were salaried.
That's wild.
Salaried employees of the school.
That's wild.
So he knows how to navigate that. And obviously, if you're familiar with Coach Bennett's departure abruptly before this current season started.
I didn't really know what was going on there. Do you have any idea as to what happened?
I mean, it's pretty clear. I mean, as somebody that follows the program super closely, I think the writing had been on the wall for a little while.
Sure.
But and I do know for a fact that the NIL revenue sharing made it difficult for him to want to continue and be able to give his all into the job.
Sure.
I mean, it's tough. His system, the pack line defense, is reliant on these kids coming to play for him, buying in, being patient. In some cases, taking a red shirt, and you usually don't fully acclimate to it by the time you're like a junior.
Right.
So in this current landscape of college basketball, it's impossible.
Dude, there's kids moving all over the place, and something interesting my sister told me that was to take effect maybe next year. She said they're getting rid of what is it, like injury years and sick years, medical and stuff like shirt? That. Yeah, they're getting rid of that. She said it's one extra year. She said you get 5 years of eligibility for college level athletics.
Interesting.
Maybe they voted that down. That's a conversation we had.
It's possible. It could be for Christmas. Non-revenue sports as well. Regulated slightly differently.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be tough to follow a legend. Obviously, the most successful coach, not only in Virginia basketball history, but probably Virginia athletic history in general.
Yeah.
But I think he's well equipped. I won't bore the listeners with all the details, but he has close ties to Charlottesville. His dad was an assistant coach during his formative years from like 3rd to 10th grade. So he knows the area. He'll be able to recruit out of the area well, and obviously understands how the revenue sharing works. So
that's huge, man.
Yeah,
that's huge. I think that's one of the biggest parts in this modern landscape. It's a school or a team's ability to learn to play this NIL game. And that's why Virginia Tech has gone so far downhill. I mean, we've seen this coming. The writing was on the wall, 5-6 years ago? I mean, they were seriously considering implementing some sort of likeness that they would pay out athletes.
Right.
And our administration, our athletic directors chose to do nothing, I think, when a lot of other programs were starting to
prepare for it.
Yeah, they're developing plans, having meetings about it. It feels like, okay, now we're putting together an NIL package. We're 2.5, 3 years too late.
Right,
I mean, we should have had something ready to go out the door, for one of these big coaches.
And that's why you see the SEC still maintaining such high levels of success. But I mean, it's one thing to have a coach that's well equipped to deal with it and know what they're doing, and that's ultimately the only way you're going to have success in this modern landscape.
Right.
I think the more important question and probably more interesting topic is it a good or bad thing for college sports? I'm pretty firmly in the camp that it's a bad thing. And don't get me wrong, these kids deserve to be compensated. They deserve to earn revenue.
Yes.
But just the way it is now, particularly with the transfer portal, just seems so broken.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can talk about that in a moment. The regulations that can and maybe should be implemented to try to bring some stability to this, because right now it's sort of the Wild West.
Absolutely.
But it's just sad to see the product. what makes college athletics special is the loyalty and fandom that you develop for certain players.
Yes.
And right now it's no different than professional sports. It's worse than professional sports because in professional sports you have contracts. You lock guys down. That's, I don't know if you're a Steelers fan.
Yes, sir.
You're probably a big fan of Big Ben in his prime.
In his prime, we can
we
speak
can
about
admit
his off the field issues in a separate conversation. Don't love that, but yes, I mean he was an incredible quarterback.
Right. So you like him enough, you keep him on contract, and you develop a fandom, and the fans love him, and he's the face of a franchise.
Right. They buy the jerseys, and the tickets to see him, to go to autograph signing, all that stuff.
Right. So the model we have now in college sports, I mean, how are you going to have any loyalty? I mean, I'm happy with Coach Odom coming in, and that's just one example. This is happening anytime there's a coaching change at the Division I level. But as of an hour or so ago, when I checked, 7 players from the team are in the portal.
7?
Yeah, and I mean,
I heard 2 this morning.
From Virginia?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's 7 players, which is to be expected. Anytime there's a coaching change,
Absolutely.
I mean, you see programs. Louisville last year, literally every member of their team entered the portal.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and obviously, and then that's also a testament to how, we can talk about pros and cons. I'm harping on the cons right now.
Yeah.
I'll get to the pros in a minute of how you can quickly turn around a program in this transfer portal NIL era. But I mean, just as a fan, it's tough. And, obviously as a Virginia fan, I'm going to reference the 2019 national championship just because I think that is the perfect example of one of the last times we ever saw a team grow, develop, learn how to lose together before they ultimately won it all together as a group of guys that had all been playing together for 3-4 years.
Right.
They were so in sync. They were the best Virginia basketball team I've ever seen play because they bought in, they all sacrificed, they all put in their time. A couple of them redshirted. So by the time they were juniors, when a few seniors on that team, I mean, they'd been playing together for so long.
Yeah.
The fan base adored them. Just not the same. Like,
Is that a way to overtake these teams that are paying all these players, have the high level athletes? I mean, if you can put together a team of guys that love each other and want to play basketball together, that cohesiveness, can that compete in today's landscape with a team of freak athletes at the college level? Because I mean, to be fair, you got to play a year of college basketball to go to the NBA, or do they change that?
I mean,
I forget what happened. The LeBron rule or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be a year removed from high school.
Right.
You don't have to play at college. They have the G League now.
Right.
Which,
Bronny put up 39 points yesterday, and the media's going crazy.
I like Bronny, man.
He'll be fine, but they're making too much out of it. But of course, the landscape. Yeah. I'm not necessarily LeBron hater, but I hate the media surrounding him, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
he's definitely one of the greatest basketball players of all time. But back to the collegiate landscape.
It's tough. It's how can it doesn't seem sustainable. I mean, as you know, once you're a fan of a program, you're sort of a fan for life. So we're locked in, so to speak. But years from now, how are you going to develop fandoms with this landscape? I mean, have you ever seen the old Jerry Seinfeld bit about how sport all sports really is you're rooting for a jersey, you're rooting for a T-shirt every year. He's referencing pro sports, but that's how it is now.
Yeah.
And to your point about can a team that buys in and stays together have success over teams that are put together from all 5- and 4-star recruits in the portal? Yes, but it's going to be hard to find any power conference program where that's going to be the case. You have to keep in mind, these are kids that are between 18 and 22 years old.
Yes, I think that's one of the most important things to note.
So money talks. So when you have these guys who are perfectly content where they are, and they have, GMs now, because schools have GMs reaching out to them.
That's crazy, dude.
It's wild. They have agents. I mean, to backtrack a little bit, one of the reasons Tony Bennett stepped down, he specifically mentioned in his retirement press conference, he's like, I've had to do nothing but field calls from agents for the past few months during this portal recruiting season. It sucks. High school recruiting's just gone out the window. It's not even a thing anymore.
Yeah.
You have to hit the transfer portal.
Yeah, who was that? There was a coach that came out yesterday on ESPN, or I saw a Reddit thread about it. And he's like, I don't even care about recruiting kids out of high school anymore. He's like, I'm going straight to the
I
portal
saw
every year.
that.
Yeah.
I saw that. It may have been the Louisville coach.
Was it?
Pat Kelsey. Because I know, obviously, they're an example of a team who has embraced it and totally reloaded in the portal. Went from winning 6 games total last year, not just in the conference. Every player on their roster left. He reloaded through the portal, and obviously had a lot more success this year. ACC Coach of the Year. Might end up being National Coach of the Year. But I think most of, if not all, those guys are set to graduate now. Louisville announced that they're prepared to spend between $8 to $10 million in the transfer portal this cycle.
That's absurd for a
Yeah.
college to be saying that.
Right.
I mean, how do smaller schools compete with that? Like, if there's no end all be all regulations, you know what I
can't.
mean? You can't.
You can't.
Especially
There's never
with
going to be the
SEC guys.
Yeah, you're never going to see like the low major, mid major heroes who
No, never.
who bring their team to the tournament and stick around all.
Nah, bro, they're getting signed by Hello Fresh, or like what's another really small brand, and then you got like the kids out in Texas driving Lamborghinis, sponsored by probably all kinds.
Yeah, and
of
it's not even the
crazy-
sponsorship anymore. It's literally
the boosters, right?
well, the schools can pay them now. So before, when NIL first started, it was you can earn money from your name, image, and likeness, exactly as the name states, NIL. So, I mean, before in the old landscape of college athletics, you couldn't do anything. You couldn't make a dime off of your name. You were a normal student who happened to play a sport, and in some cases making millions of dollars for your institution or for.
Yep, I have a great example of that actually.
Yeah.
There's a dude that I met in college that Grace knew from high school, I believe, or she knew him maybe from college. I forget. But anyway, I was buddies with this dude, and he was a Twitch streamer.
Yeah.
And he couldn't make any revenue off of it. And he amassed a pretty large following. I won't get into too many details because he still is active in that, space now.
Right.
But he could have made some significant amount of money. But he was, what did he do? He won an ACC championship in, I think, 4x100 meter dash for track. So he ended up doing that. And then I think his junior year, he dropped out of college, moved to the West Coast, and became a full-time content creator. Yeah. And that's what he's still doing. But now he, in today's landscape, he could have stayed at school, finished his degree, done sports, and also made money on the side from something like this.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so it's not, but now it's not even just earning money off of your name.
Right.
And this is a whole nother discussion as to how it can possibly be fixed. Sponsorships, endorsements, I think all that is fine.
Agree.
Because it doesn't really impact the turnover that we see. Now, revenue sharing is what directly impacts it. Schools literally being able to sharing revenue. You're paying your players. But it's the nature of the beast currently, and we can talk for probably another several hours if we wanted to about how to fix it. And it's tough. Without going off on too much of a tangent, it's
and it probably depends on not only the NCAA governing body, but state regulations now, because all these states they pass bills to allow.
So the transfer portal is what it is currently because of a federal injunction from a federal judge.
I didn't know that.
So we would see a little bit less craziness out of the transfer portal if the old sit-a-year rule was still intact.
So what's that? Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so for the longest time up until just a couple years ago, up until COVID actually,
sure,
is that changed it. The NCAA had a rule where any player who transferred from a team, graduate transfers not being the case, that was the exception. But if you transferred to a different institution, you had to sit out a year to remain eligible. It discouraged transferring for the exact reasons we're seeing now. So you're a really good player. Your market value, so to speak, is the highest that it will be. You want to transfer to a new school, you have to sit out a year. Obviously, no one wants to do that. Then COVID happened, and there was that whole process of, players who played in that COVID season retained a year of eligibility, and then they
Yep.
decided if you want to transfer, you don't have to sit out a year, because otherwise you'd essentially had 2 years of eligibility down the drain.
Right.
So that was a big problem. There was also a lot of problems with, towards the end of the city year rule, there was a lot of inconsistency with the NCAA granting waivers. So players could request a waiver to not sit out a year, and there was no logic behind what the NCAA would and would not allow.
Yeah.
So some players could say, "Oh, I have a sick grandparent. They may not be around much longer.
Right.
I want them to see me play before they possibly pass away." And sometimes that same excuse would get approved, sometimes it would get denied. So there was no rhyme or reason behind. There's no set list of rules for approval or denial. So it was starting to get pretty bad in regards to that, and then they just did away with it altogether. And then the NCAA, to their credit, while they're still trying to figure out some regulation around like the revenue sharing itself, they did try to re-implement the city year rule, but that's where a federal judge put an injunction that said it wasn't allowed, because in the United States, you cannot have selective capitalism. So if you're going to treat it like a business, you have to treat it like any other business. And unless you're employed by someone that has you on a contract, or you have a non-compete agreement or something along those lines,
Right.
you can't interfere with these students' ability to earn revenue, selective capitalism, and say that you have to sit a year. That impedes their ability to participate in capitalism, just like all of us do.
Interesting.
In other ways, yeah.
I don't disagree with that reasoning. The end result, I do. I think maybe not necessarily sit a year to determine the length of eligibility. Maybe if it were something like 5 or 6 years, 5 years, 6 years with a medical like red shirt option, something like that. If they had some sort of structure around that would discourage kids from just being like, all right, see you later, I'm going to go make more money elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I've from the very beginning, I've said it needs to be capped at a reasonable amount. I don't think it's normal for college age kids like that to be earning millions of dollars like we're seeing now. You should definitely never earn more money playing college basketball than professional basketball, and we're seeing that now. I'll say the only one positive that I can think of from the whole thing is that it does discourage sort of the one and done possibility for some people.
Yeah.
I'll throw an example out there. Even though if it's from a team I don't particularly like, I'm sure you remember Armando Bacot from the Tar Heels from a couple seasons ago. He stayed in college for 5 years because he used that COVID year of eligibility. Under no other normal circumstance would we have seen a player like that not leave. I mean, he was probably never ready to be a one and done, but he certainly wouldn't have stayed for that extra 5th year, probably not even his 4th year, because his after his junior year, his stock was as high as it was going to get.
Absolutely.
But he found himself at the right place at the right time, where he's in a position now where he's going to be making more money playing college sports than going to the pros, because he was never like a first rounder.
Right.
He was never going to be a surefire lottery pick. For those guys, obviously, it does make sense to go and get your, $20 to $50 million contract. He would have been a guy that had to compete for a roster spot, might have been on some two-way deals, but would have made money, but made more staying in college. So,
it's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Man.
So that's maybe the only silver lining, is that we do see really good players actually staying in college and playing college sports. But I've always been of the opinion that there needs to be some sort of cap on it. They're making millions, cap it at 250,000. I don't know. But then again, that
some arbitrary number.
Yeah, some arbitrary number like that, that's more reasonable. But again, it all circle back to selective capitalism. If they're allowed to share and participate in revenue sharing, who's the government to say that it has to be capped at a certain figure? So
yeah,
obviously cause a lot of problem. And I'll say the only solution, the only possible solution that I see, is collective bargaining.
Collective bargaining. We give them a players' association.
Yeah, it has to be. That's the only feasible way to make any progress.
Sure.
But I think unfortunately we're probably a long way off from that.
Absolutely. And just for some context, I mean, we're pretty much talking about basketball and football. I think some of the other sports do receive funding slash are available for media contracts, stuff like that, but just not
Sure.
nearly to the extent as men's basketball.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
football.
the average Power 5 conference is typically going to be allocating 70% of their, and it depends on the school.
Sure.
There's some quote basketball schools.
VCU is a good example.
Power 5, but
Right. But
they don't have a
they don't have a
program.
football team.
I'm saying for your average Power 5 team with
sure.
football, you're typically going to see about 70% of revenue go towards football, about 15% towards basketball, and like that remaining 5 or 10% towards all the other sports.
Everything else.
I mean, you'll occasionally see some baseball players from schools with good baseball programs, but the opportunity there is going to be more so with the actual NIL versus revenue sharing.
Yeah.
You're not going to, unless it's a really, really big program, you're not going to see many.
It's the TV contract
Yeah.
money. I mean, that was the whole reason behind conference realignment years ago. They wanted the big TV contracts.
Yeah, I mean, it's called revenue sharing because it's gonna impact your revenue sports, and typically at most schools, your revenue sports are going to be football and basketball and sometimes baseball.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Craziness, man. Let's talk about a sport that might not participate as much in revenue sharing, but it is one of our shared passions.
Oh, yes.
Went on a trip this past year in the process of planning it again for this November. Have some golf content on the Slanted Attic page, probably from that. But yeah, a couple of interesting tournaments coming up here shortly. We've got the Masters in a month.
We got the Masters in a couple of weeks.
Not, and then
2 weeks. I think the first round will actually be 2 weeks from to the day that we're having this conversation.
Crazy to think about Augusta National. I try the lottery every year.
You and many others.
Yep, never get it. But hey, man, all I got to do is hit it once, and then I get them for life as long as I go. But I got to go every year. It's a good excuse.
Yeah, no, we got that starting in a couple weeks. Interesting field this year. Looking at the field, who stands out as?
Oh yeah, who missed? Sergio Garcia missed the cut for the Open. Yeah. Let me pull up the field for this.
I mean, it's Scotty is the odds-on favorite to repeat,
of course.
But yeah, I'm curious as to who you think I mean, if you're looking at the odds, which I'm looking at right now, and if you'd like me, I can just list off maybe the top 10 of the field for you.
I'm gonna pull them up too. Go.
So we've got Scotty, and this is in order of I'll omit the actual odds to make things less complicated. But
yes,
we have Scotty Scheffler as the odds-on favorite to repeat as Master Champion. Rory in second place, playing really well. Just came off of that Players victory.
Yeah,
that was super impressive. It
was nice by him.
Ludwig. Never sure if I pronounced that right. Ludwig Oberg. Yeah, I like him.
I like him too. He's a little young, lacks some experience, very quick golfer. I love that. Like he's there, he's ready to do his shit and move on.
Right.
Like he's not ready to harp over everything. Right. I love the
short memory.
Love that.
You have to have a short memory.
Love that.
Got John Rahm, Colin Morikawa.
I'm surprised Rahm's so high up on the odds.
Got Bryson, Xander, Matsuyama, JT, and I think after that the field probably.
Yeah, there's a couple guys down there, that I think could potentially make a run. You got Daniel Berger's been having a hot year, in all of the signature events. For now, granted, this is a conversation we can have following the Masters talk, but I think that's largely due to this Tiger Golf League and a lot of the top players being caught up in something like that. They play weekly, aren't as involved in as many of the tournaments.
Yeah.
They're required to reach or participate in a bare minimum of like X number of signature events for the year. Right. But, as long as they're hitting that minimum, they're doing this TGL, getting paid a salary, and doing that instead. A couple guys notable, I think, that are down there. Shane Lowry's been playing well too. Never call him out. He's getting a little older, but I love my boy Shane. Tyrrell Hatton, crybaby, but he can do it. He can get it done. He just has a lot of meltdowns on the course. Don't mean that, personally. Spieth is another one who's a very emotional player. JT has got a good shot, I think. He's been playing some good golf in spurts if he can put it all together. Did I say Cantlay yet? He's
No,
down
not
there.
yet.
Clark, Akshay, Batia,
Yeah,
love him. The
I was
lefty
surprised to see him.
with the broomstick, dude. Love that
Yeah,
guy.
I was surprised to see him as low on.
Yeah, but I think the problem is, these guys are in contention for these smaller events. I think you need that it factor, the win factor.
Right.
Some of those guys don't have it.
Totally.
Like the reason why Scotty was able to win all those tournaments last year, you could just close out, dude.
Right.
Like he just had that Sunday fever,
Yeah, and I'm taking a look at the list. I'm not even seeing my guy who I bet on him for like a top 10 finish in every PGA event in like 2023, 2024. Sahith Theegala, and I'm not
Dude,
even
love
seeing him.
Sahith.
Is he?
He's plus 8,000 on ESPN Bet. I
Okay.
have funds in there.
Hold
I'd
on,
rather
let
use
me-
DraftKings. I'm not affiliated with any sports book, so if there's any sports books out there,
I
that
got plus 7,000. Okay.
would pick up the Slanted
So
Attic
that's somebody I
Experience.
will.
We're here.
Yeah, that's somebody that I'll always pick to possibly surprise.
He plays some good golf, man. I like
Yeah.
him too.
I like him a lot. Yeah, he seems like a good kid.
But
I'd say who stands out to me the most. I mean,
Scotty and Rory, of course.
Scott. Yeah, and I mean, if I had a gun to my head, I'd pick Scotty again.
Yeah.
I like Colin Morikawa. I like the way he plays the game.
Yes.
I like the way he approaches the game. I like his mindset. It's been a little while since he's won a major event.
He's very technical, I think is a good
Yeah.
descriptor word. And he had that falling out, what was it, 3 weeks ago at the wasn't the Genesis, was it? But he was in the lead the entire day on
Yeah.
Sunday. And then was it Russell Henley took him? No, yeah, maybe it was Russell Henley. I can't remember.
Right.
But Henley holed out on like what was it, 15 or 16, and Morikawa couldn't,
Yeah.
make the
he
jump.
got in some hot water a week or two ago over some things said with the media.
Oh yeah.
But he's I could see him.
I could
making
see
some
him
noise.
too.
I think he did well last year, if I'm not mistaken.
I'd have to pull
But
that up.
Oberg, that is who I am gonna be rolling with. He's
Oberg's
come
your guy?
close. He keeps coming close. He keeps getting better. Young, his game's improving. So that's my official
That's your pick.
my official pick is Oberg this year is going to begin his first green jacket.
So I'll give two. I'll give my personal opinion, and then I'll give a good bet, odds choice. If you're looking to make some cash
Sure.
and you got $1 or $5 to throw, I think JT's a serious candidate to win. We'll know that after Friday's round. I think he typically plays really well on Saturdays, but if he's not putting it together Thursday, Friday, you'll know whether he has a chance or if he's relatively in contention. I mean, he just needs to be just above the cut line, if not a few strokes up from that. And it depends on how hard the course is playing this year. What are the scores going to be? Like, some guys are out there and can score, heavy rounds but struggle. Not heavy rounds, low rounds, but struggle with a difficult course. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I mean it's especially the younger guys. It's
tough to say.
It's a humbling course.
And they haven't played it as many times. I like Bryson DeChambeau too. Not gonna lie.
I like Bryson.
Yeah, I had a poor opinion of him.
He had a good year.
4-ish years ago. He was not my favorite golfer.
A little bit of a temper.
Yeah, but I
he's
think
gotten better.
Yeah, I think my perception has totally changed on him.
Yeah, I mean I could see him being right there in the fold.
It's time for Scotty to win this year, bro. It's time.
Scotty?
Yeah, it's
the repeat?
time. It's time for the repeat.
Yeah. You see his that's one of my favorite parts every year is seeing the what the previous champion has on their menu for their honorary dinner. I think Scotty is having
his dad's meatballs.
Yeah, it's so funny some of the years, man. There was somebody not too long ago that had, I think it was Bubba Watson.
Yeah, what was it? What was
It was
it?
like chicken tenders or something. Or I think it was like fried chicken and chocolate chip cookies as the, we can.
Yeah, look that up. That's hilarious. Xander Schauffele has been having a decent year. I cannot believe that Victor Hovland is plus 2,200. That's ridiculous. I think he has no chance. I know he won this week, but he's been playing some atrocious golf so far this year.
He's not going to put together 4 championship rounds at Augusta
At
National.
Augusta National, unfortunately. I think it'll be big who wins this weekend. What do we got? The Houston Open or something like that?
Yeah, we do. I was just taking a peek at that actually.
Yeah, gotta see. Because, in golf, momentum's a real thing.
Absolutely.
As is.
Yeah,
it
it's
is in
the
other
the
sports.
You're exactly right. The Houston Open.
But
This
so
weekend.
I think that could lead.
To what we referenced a second ago. So it was Bubba's 2015 Masters dinner. And for those not familiar, the previous champion usually hosts an elaborate dinner with a prefixed menu for all the living previous champions in attendance, and it's usually a fancy spread. But here's Bubba's Masters Club dinner from April 2015. Caesar salad appetizer,
Nice.
grilled chicken breast as the main entree, and confetti cake for dessert. And let's take that in comparison to Tiger Woods' last Masters menu from his 2019 championship. Prime steak, chicken fajita, dessert trio with classic flan, churros, chocolate sauce, tempura shrimp, spicy tuna, eel sauce. So I mean that's just an idea of the type of
Cuisine change.
cuisine that you see versus what Bubba did. That's always struck me as that's hilarious. But I think
Bubba's the one who never had like a swing coach or anything, right? He was self-taught.
nah, man, Bubba's still the only guy I've seen hit a driver off the deck at a major open tournament.
There have been guys that have done it the past couple years. It's become more popular to carry like a mini driver or something in the bag. Some of these
Yeah.
guys will do it. But yeah, I mean, you don't see it very often.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, so it's one of my. I love the timing of the Masters because March Madness ends. You're going into a
Baseball.
yeah, unless you're a baseball or NBA fan, you're going into sort of your off season for sports. So the Masters comes at the perfect time to.
Yeah, and you should not be watching every single baseball game. I mean, 162 games.
No,
Sure,
man,
if
I
you're a
actually-
really dedicated fan.
Dude, I actually just
Fine.
had that conversation with a friend of mine who is a big baseball fan.
I love baseball. I played baseball for 15, 16 years. I love
Yeah.
it.
So
But I
have
would
a-
never watch 162
Well, I have a-
games
yeah,
of
I
a
was gonna say,
season
I have
of
a friend
sport.
who's a big Red Sox fan, and his dad is an even bigger Red Sox fan. And we were chatting because for me growing up,
Of course.
the Virginia athletics was football and basketball season every game, but
Right.
you have 12 games in a football season, and 30 give or take in a basketball season, so you can watch all of them. You're paying attention to every down, every play, every second. And it's stressful. I mean, especially
Dude,
in years where they're good.
You're telling me as a Pittsburgh Steelers
Yeah.
fan? Come on.
Yeah, but on Virginia's championship
Oh.
year, really the Bennett's 10-year stint as one of the elite programs in the country. Obviously every win feels like a relief. Every loss is the end of the world, and you're hanging on the edge of your seat for every play.
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine doing that as if you're that big of a baseball fan for a team. I just can't imagine. I was talking to my buddy who's a Red Sox fan, and his dad's a huge Red Sox fan. I said, for my dad, during those football and basketball games, nothing else matters. You better not talk to him unless you're actively engaged in watching the game.
Right.
You're not looking at your phone. You're not doing anything. There's going to be screaming. There's going to be cursing. There's going to be celebrating if they win, especially if it's a big game.
Yeah.
But by the time the season comes to an end, it's always I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the break.
Sure. I hear that.
I can't imagine doing that for 160 some. I mean, that's literally every other day.
Yeah, I think it's
And
kind
there's
of
a game
crazy.
pretty much every day during the season.
Right. I think it's kind of crazy to watch all of them. Now, once you get into playoffs, totally understand that. 7-game series,
Yeah,
hanging
and
on to
it's a different
hanging on to
mindset.
that.
You have
100%.
to, the old saying in baseball, you're going to win 60, you're going to lose 60. It's what you do with the other
42 games
however,
or whatever.
that defines champions.
100%. I mean, you see the best teams in the league every year going 102
Right.
and 60
So I mean,
or
yeah,
whatever.
there has to be a different mindset. Obviously, college basketball. If you lose one game in a season where your team's good, it sucks.
Pretty significant, even more so in college football.
Yeah, you have to. I guess you have to go into baseball season knowing that your team's going to lose at least 6. If your team loses 60 games, you're going to be one of the best teams ever. So it's
Right, you have
just
a
weird,
shot at playoff contention.
but if you're a passionate enough fan, you're wanting to win all of them.
Yeah, I mean, baseball's a great sport, America's pastime. I mean, I
Mm.
read excerpts on Reddit of people that score every game. I mean,
Yeah.
they're there, they watch the whole thing, they score it in a scorebook. I'm like, whatever your hobbies are, whatever suits you, phenomenal. But
Yeah,
you
I
will
mean,
not
there's-
catch me
Yeah.
162 out of 365 days in a year. I guess that doesn't
There's
include
worse hobbies to
double
have.
headers, so maybe 150. Let's just say
Yeah.
150 days.
Yeah, sure.
Obviously, worse hobbies, but you won't catch me
Um,
doing that.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, that's why I love the Masters. It segues into time of year where all we have is that, and then there's the NBA, which I do. I am an NBA fan, so I can.
I've been less and less NBA, unfortunately. But who do you follow?
I mean, I don't have a team
I
per
don't have a
se. I
team
grew up in a
either.
Wizards household, so obviously that's not.
Having some down years.
Yeah, I mean they can't even tank properly. I mean they're going to miss out on the first draft pick. When this airs, we should know, and I'll be prepared to eat crow if I'm wrong. But I guarantee you, they're gonna get like the second or third pick and miss out on Cooper Flag. Hope I'm wrong. But no, I just enjoy the sport. It's interesting for me. The NBA is probably the best example of a sport where I almost enjoy the analytics and the numbers behind it as much as I do actually watching it.
Sure.
So that's a hobby of mine is the analytics behind it. The numbers, graphs, advanced statistics, all of that, plus minus efficiency.
Yeah, that's what I love about baseball. They have a
Right.
statistic for that. It's called wins above replacement. And I'm not sure exactly how it's calculated, but they take all of their batting, pitching, or fielding stats.
Right.
They throw it in a program and it comes out with a number. And
Yeah.
it's wins above replacement. So if you're like playing on an average, MLB player level, you're a 0.
Right.
And then it calculates
higher
all the other
the
one.
better,
And
yeah.
Mike Trout is so far above everybody else who's a current active player. It's like double. And then
Right.
you have like oh my God, like a Juan Soto's up there, like what's his face, Aaron Judge. Like your big players, but nobody's even close to a Mike Trout.
Yeah, see, that's how like Steph Curry was in his prime with the NBA in terms of advanced statistic metrics.
Yeah.
But then I actually almost like the free agency as much as I do the actual season, the playoffs. I've gotten really into that in the past few years, tracking free agency, salary caps,
Yeah.
contracts, what a team can and can't pay to get certain players to their market. So that's equally as fascinating for me.
Do you follow that in the NFL too, or just primarily?
I follow free
NBA?
agency, not as much in the NBA. It's more interesting to me. There's so much more money to be made in the NBA now for NBA players than football players. I mean, it's crazy. So like Saquon just signed his 2-year extension with the Eagles. What was it, like 2 years, 42 million,
Something like
21
that.
million a year?
Yeah.
Great money. That makes him, I think, the highest paid running back. There's guys in the NBA that, unless you follow the NBA closely, there's guys you've never heard of who are making more money than that in a year, and it's crazy. I mean, there's players that.
What's the minimum salary? It's like $1.3 million or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, and it changes every year. I actually think it's closer to $1.8 million now.
Gotcha.
But then there's the rookie minimum, the veteran minimum.
Sure. Yeah, because that increases with every year you play. Your salary's at a higher minimum. So if you're like a 12-year player, I mean, your minimum salary might be $10 million a year or something
sure,
like that.
Sure, yeah, and that doesn't increase as much as you would think. Like you'll see guys who are well known who are on veteran minimum deals as sort of a twilight
Sure.
thing.
A
And
Tom
it's-
Brady.
It's not
A
right.
Tom
It's
Brady
not that
contract.
much, but
Sure.
like I said, I could start pulling up rosters and listing off guys that unless you are a fan of the NBA or that team, you may not have heard of who are making more than Saquon Barkley. So
Which is wild.
it's crazy, but yeah, I find the free agency fascinating. Just fascinating to see guys making that much fucking money. I mean, we're gonna see. I think this year, this free agency cycle, we might see the first person ever making $70 million a year for 1 year.
That's wild.
They
Who
say
would that
back
be?
to the NFL. They say Jaden Daniels is possibly going to be
A billionaire?
Well, maybe.
I mean,
But
what do you think? Like,
by the time he's
12
eligible for
years?
his rookie extension,
yeah.
I read something today that he might be the first professional athlete we see that is paid $90 million or more a year.
You think he'll make $90 million a year? I was thinking more of like $70 million a year for 8 years.
Just what I read, that
Wow.
he might be the first. He might be the first professional athlete in line for a salary like that.
That's
Keep
crazy.
in mind, he's not going to be eligible. Goes up so much every year.
Right.
The salary cap goes up. The minimums go up.
Well, the salary cap went up what, like 11 or 12% over this, like from this year to last year. It's like
so
above 10%.
By the time he's
That's pretty
eligible for
significant.
so by the time he's eligible for his rookie extension, it could be feasible. But
Yeah.
That's man, we'll see. I do think the NBA is going to see some insanely high salaries this year.
Who do you
this
think's
free agency
fetching something like that? Who's on the market?
We'll have to see. To pull it up, I think is LeBron. He's not gonna get that much with his age, but I think he's actually, now that I'm looking at it, there's not a ton of huge name free agents on the market, so it might actually be another year or so before we see it. But I do think in the near future we're going to see some people making. I mean, who's the highest paid player now? Steph?
Is it? I'm not sure.
Over 60 million a year, like 62 million a year.
Dude, that's almost disgusting.
Yeah.
$62 million. And that's athletics. We're not even getting into like capitalism and all that other shit, where Elon Musk is worth $600 billion.
Yeah,
but
so
like $60 million a year?
Something along those lines. Actually, I think it's Steph. He makes 55 million a year. And I think like the last year of his deal will pay him like 62 million or so.
That's insane.
It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, so many players above 50 million a year. Yeah. So I think we're going to see someone pass that threshold very soon.
Absolutely. And what is the NFL, or not the NFL, the NBA salary cap? How much does that increase every year? Is it similar to NFL?
Not as much, but the NBA is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the NBA has more flexibility due to luxury tax.
That's right.
So you can essentially sign whoever you want for however much you want, if you're willing to go into the luxury tax.
Yeah, because that gets expensive.
Yeah. Now the NBA does do a better job than some other sports in regulating that. So the commissioner,
baseball,
it doesn't have any salary cap. Commissioner would veto any, if they're, we'll use Elon Musk as an example again. If he decided to buy an NBA team and finance the payroll himself, he could pay everyone $1 billion a year.
Yeah,
that would get vetoed. Obviously, the commissioner wouldn't allow that. So there is some regulation. But I'm super fascinated by NBA contracts and the business behind all of that. I follow that fairly closely.
So something that came up on one of our sports room podcasts, which you need to get involved in one of those too. We'll do. So Graham and Liam know a lot more about college athletics than I do. You're teaching me a lot of new stuff that I am gladly listening to. Sure. I'm sure a lot of listeners out there will appreciate as well. But we're talking about percentage-based salaries.
Right.
So each team can allocate X percentage, whereas like a quarterback, most important position in a team, you pay him 22%. And as the cap increases, their contract increases. And you can kind of assign a number to all of these positions on the team.
Right, and that's why we're seeing more so than before. It's always happened, but we saw it a lot in this current free agency cycle that just started in the NFL. We're seeing like high paid players restructure their contracts to allow more cap space.
Super interesting
like
stuff.
I think Pat Mahomes just restructured it. He'll still get the same tens of millions of dollars that was always going to get. He'll just get it later in his contract.
Right. Yeah. Baseball does a good job at that. If they do a good job at anything in the front office money wise, they do a lot of delayed spending or delayed contracts. So like great example, Ken Griffey Jr. just got finished getting paid out in 2022, I believe. And he retired in what?
Who's
like
that super famous
like that.
Japanese player?
Why can't I think of Ohtani?
Ohtani, yeah. You saw him have some sort of crazy contract like that where
$700 million.
But he was only getting paid a small amount at the beginning, so they could build a great team around him.
And it's working.
Right. So like I read something where he was only getting like 12 million And that could be totally off, but just as an example,
Right, sure.
for the
Insignificant amount.
first like 3 or 4 years of that contract, so they could build a great team around him, and then he'll get a lot more than that towards the end of his contract.
It's craziness, man. Like there's
Hope his
no
interpreter doesn't gamble it all away.
Yeah, well, he's gone.
I hope so.
No, there's no parity in baseball. Like they definitely are loading the teams that can afford to spend. You know, you have your Mets, your Dodgers, your Phillies, and your Yankees are pretty much at the top of that list. And then you have tier B teams. You know, the Red Sox have a huge market. I'm trying to think of other teams.
Yeah, I mean, and you wonder why like the fucking Kansas City Royals suck every year because
they don't have any money.
They don't have any fucking money.
Well, the problem is, and I was actually having this discussion with our Uber driver the other day. He's from Pittsburgh. And I was like, you know, the reason why we'll never be good at baseball is because our owner, and this is actually true for baseball and football in the great city of Pittsburgh, the best sports town in the USA. But
I've never been to Pittsburgh, so I can't.
Dude, beautiful stadiums. I will say they should have never changed it from Heinz Field. Pretty pissed about that. But other than that, you know, both on the river.
It'll always be Heinz Field, though.
It's gorgeous. Oh, absolutely. But both owners, that's where their net worth is from. That's how they make their money. So they're not willing to compromise and spend extra money, you know, to appease the players. Like you heard the Najee Harris comment when he got to Los Angeles. He was like, not all locker rooms are like this or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, of course, man, like our owners aren't spending the money. And in baseball, that's a direct correlation because it's salary, you know, they have to pay the salaries, you know, that's what it comes from, the owner's pocket or collective bargaining group, you know, private equity firms, whatever they got. But
it, you know, it results in objectively, or I guess subjectively, a shittier product. It's why viewership for MLB is on a sharp decrease year after year.
They made a lot of changes to try
Giants,
to
the Dodgers,
deal with that.
The Yankees, the Red Sox, and then you got a wild card once every 5 years.
Yep. Yeah, it's just huge spending. I mean, the Mets
there's
payroll is
players,
like $400 million.
Did I read there was like 2 players on the Dodgers who earned more than the entire payroll for
probably the Pirates.
It was one of the teams in Texas. It wasn't the Astros.
The Rangers?
Yeah, I think it was
probably the Rangers. I mean, we're at like out of the 30 teams.
The Rangers recently made a World Series, didn't they?
They won the World Series.
They won the World Series. It might have been the Royals. Sorry to any Royals fans out there, because I used them as an example of everything.
I have a future bet on them winning the World Series this year, so don't speak that into existence.
You'll be a billionaire if that hits. I mean, really, what were the odds on that?
I don't know. I'd have to look.
Plus 10,000?
Something like that. Yeah. So, you know. But yeah, that's the problem it creates. I mean, the Pirates are I think we're number 28 or 29 out of 30 in payroll, and we're number 16 in revenue or 15 in revenue. So like that just goes to show like we can't, like our ownership is not interested in
great uniforms though. I'll give them credit where it's
phenomenal
due.
Uniforms. We got Skeens, we got Jared Jones,
you have Skeens,
Quinn Priester, a lot of young pitchers, which is great. But what's going to happen in 3 years once his rookie contract runs out? Yeah, they're going to pay him an exorbitant amount of money to go to the Yankees or the Dodgers.
You think Livy Dunn wants to settle down in Pittsburgh?
Come on, man. Probably not. But yeah, that's the problem.
I've never been. I can't say anything. I've got nothing bad to say about does Pittsburgh have a name? The city of Philly's the city of brotherly
Steel
love.
City, bro.
The Steel City.
The Steel City, yeah. That's why our mascot's Steely Dan. I've actually got a bunch of.
Do they play Steely Dan tunes like?
Not that I've experienced, but I'm sure at some point they play "Renegade" by Styx is like the big song. But yeah, I've got a bunch of decoration. I'm sure you saw Sammy Sosa over there, but I've got a bunch of stuff that I'm gonna put up.
You could have a whole podcast about how interesting of a turn that guy's life is taking.
Oh my God, yeah. But yeah, I've got a bunch of like signed hats. I've got Santonio Holmes. I got a picture with Heinz Ward. I'll put up, big Steelers guy. Nice. But I don't know. Well, I'll give my piece about the upcoming season because I haven't in any recent episodes, and then we'll move on to music if you'd like, because I got a couple of concerts that I just got tickets to, stuff like that. Are you a Commanders fan? Do you follow NFL heavily? You say you're more of a college guy.
No, I am, but I do follow NFL. Obviously, this past season, sort of. Yes, I am a Commanders fan. Am I allowed to say I'm a Redskins fan?
Yeah.
It's a vernacular I'm more comfortable with. But no, yes, I grew up in a Redskins household. A difficult existence
RG3.
up until this past year. Yeah, I mean it's
There were a couple spurts of
in
hope, like glimmers of hope. I mean, Kirk was not great for you
it was a
guys.
terror. No, he was pretty bad.
Mariota, he was not great, right?
Mariota.
Or no, RG3 was really your savior, right? And that's it. And then
Yeah,
he
so I
got
mean they
injured?
sucked my entire life until I went to college. I went to college, and my freshman year was the RG3 year. I remember watching every game in the dorms, Radford University,
You're
Southwest
probably
Virginia.
jazzed, dude.
It was great, and it was actually really interesting because that was the first time in my life coming from Richmond, first time living anywhere else, and tons of people at Radford University from the Northern Virginia DC area. So I was a fan. All my friends in high school were casual fans for the most part.
Sure.
But I got to college, and that's where I really, for the first time, met diehard NBA fans. In Richmond, it was all diehard college fans. A lot of Virginia fans, a lot of Hokie fans.
Yep.
And that's what people would talk about. But for the first time, I was around people that were diehard Redskins fans. So that was fun. Yeah, I mean, those are memories that I still recall often, sitting in the freshman dorms watching rookie RG3 do his thing. And then obviously
Stud.
we all know how that ended.
Yep.
And then this I mean, yeah, there was a couple years where they squeak into the wild card and lose in the first round. Shout out to Taylor Heineke. He did a phenomenal job with the
Absolutely.
situation he was given. No, it's exciting now.
Yeah, man, you got a lot to look forward for.
Yeah.
Lot to look forward for. Lot to look forward to. But anyways, great draft capital, and I think y'all really capitalized off of that this past offseason and draft. I know you've got some more coming up. A lot of young guys. That gives you a lot of availability for cap space, on the back end. Do a lot in free agency, maybe after the draft, address some of those weaknesses. I cannot say the same in Pittsburgh. We're all in situation right now, and I don't think it's the right time
You have a quarterback
to
yet?
do so. No, we don't. Aaron Rodgers is going to come to us around $20 million a year.
Is that he's flip flopping?
Yeah, he visited the facility for 6 hours, and Russ just signed with the Giants.
I saw that today.
So
Just signed with the Giants.
yeah,
Which is
get your bag, bro. I don't see him as a starting NFL quarterback. We should have stuck
Tyler
with
and
Fields.
I have a inside joke with regards to Jameis Winston. So I was looking forward to seeing Jameis Winston be at the helm of the Giants because he just signed that 2-year deal with them too.
I know. I can't believe
I was
we didn't
excited,
take Jameis
man.
for
I was
something
excited
like
to
that,
have
man.
Jameis lead the tank in
In
New York City.
Yeah, we've got a
but
similar
fuck, I mean,
situation with Kenny Pickett.
Russ, at his age, may not be the most reliable starter, so we may see a lot of Jameis this year after all.
The only reason he was good in our package was because he was a play-action quarterback, and that's what Arthur Smith liked to run. That's why Fields didn't fit as well, but
Right.
we should have stuck with him all year and adapted around him. He was a better quarterback. We would have had a chance to pay him less money.
He's on the Jets now, I
and
believe.
yeah,
Yeah.
2-year.
Yeah, why not take a chance with him as your guy?
That's what I'm saying. Like, we should have stuck with him. Apparently, we offered him something similar, but he wanted to move on.
I get it.
Yeah, especially after half the season. I mean, you're 4-2.
Because I did read that the Jets see tremendous upside in him.
Sure.
And think his best football is ahead. And I agree. An interesting journey for him so far. But I think he is capable. So I'm excited to see what he does. But
Yeah. Too tight.
$20 million for Aaron Rodgers after what he just did for the past 2 seasons in the Jets.
I mean, he's our only option. We're gonna draft a guy. We've got Mason
yeah.
Rudolph,
Yeah.
but like
What draft pick do you have?
20.
Oh fuck, never mind. You don't
I
have
mean,
to say anymore.
we Jackson Dart's the only guy gonna be available.
Yeah.
Or what's his face from Georgia? Will Howard. Is that his name? Or from Ohio State? Will Howard. I think
Yeah.
that's right. So that's really what we're looking at with pick. I think
Will
2026.
Howard.
26. So let's be realistic. Like,
Get a 1-year rental.
we're making all these moves like we're competing for the Super Bowl next year, and we don't have a quarterback situation like plan. I
Hey.
get trying to capitalize, like TJ Watt's getting towards the end of his contract, like Cam Hayward.
All your games
like
will be on primetime TV now.
Minka Fitzpatrick. Oh my god, yeah, it's true. It's true. We're gonna get prime time.
Don't have to pay for the special package to get all the Steelers games in Virginia now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, without YouTube TV, the Sunday Ticket, like I get to watch a handful of games. Thank you, Stream East. I wish you would sponsor me.
Yeah, but as far as the Redskins go, yeah, I mean, it goes to show what a change in ownership can do.
Yeah.
I do think they
100%.
made one of the better offseason moves that we've seen with the acquisition of Deebo Samuels. Um, so
I think he'll
I
fit into your team and your structure
well,
well.
I mean, ultimately, I won't be able to recall exactly how it worked out, but it's like the second Josh Peters took over as owner was like they took Jahan Dotson and turned him into a third round pick, and they were somehow able, throughout the chain of events, eventually that third round pick turned into Deebo Samuel somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That's great ownership, man. Good GM.
Through a series of different trades and moves that it essentially became Jahan Dotson for Deebo Samuel.
That's what I don't understand. Like, as a business, you're trying to make money. Why is this the first time that the Commanders have done something like that? Like, why do the Colts seem to fail year after year? Why do the Panthers suck? Like, wouldn't you think as a huge investment like that, like, I don't know, like, you see what teams have success. Historied franchises, you know.
Right.
Obviously, Kansas City's doing that right now.
It's stubborn ownership, man. I mean, keep in mind you have billionaires at the helm for the most part.
Yeah.
They're gonna have egos because you have to be a billionaire.
Fair.
Most of the time, there are some I assume are good people. Look at Dallas. That's the classic example I always point to when you have stubborn ownership. Worked out for a while, but is clearly not working out now.
Well, that worked out. I learned this recently, basically because of the Herschel Walker trade back in 1981, I believe.
Right, and they're still riding those coattails 40 years later.
I mean, basically, what was it, Oakland at the time, traded away their entire roster to him.
Yeah.
Basically, their entire draft capital, and they drafted Emmitt Smith and not Michael Strahan. Who am I thinking about? I don't know. A bunch of the big names that, you know, inevitably went on to win, two or three titles in the 80s. So, you know, like, after that, they haven't had a ton of success. You know, the huge rivalry with San Francisco, you know, in the NFC Championship, that's no longer. You know, San Francisco's been good for the last couple of years. Now they're seeing a crisis over there.
Yeah, they are.
So, not really sure what's going to happen in the NFL landscape.
The Bay Area. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I like the Commanders' chances. I am going to go out and predict that their win total is going to be slightly less this year just because they have a harder schedule.
I agree.
And
they'll make the playoffs.
The sophomore slumps a thing, but I think the playoffs. I think they'll
be a wild card. I think
they'll be a good team for a while.
I think the Eagles will win that division. First time, back-to-back conference champion since 2002 or something like that. It's been 23 years. Yeah. So I
the difference being that during that stretch, a lot of the teams were good and would swap. Now, difference is most of them suck.
Well, I mean, if anybody, I think the Commanders are the one that have the potential to win that division. If not the Eagles, I mean, you think Dallas is going to do anything?
I don't think. Well, the Giants clearly are.
Actually, you know, you never know. Dallas has been regular season heroes before.
Yeah.
In the past.
I mean,
decade.
Washington was supposed to suck this year, and they.
Yeah, but I think that's different. I think you guys have clearly built a good team. You won a playoff game. Yeah. Obviously, I don't think you were ever going to win that game against Philly.
I don't think the Cowboys are going to win the division with Dak Prescott as quarterback.
I don't think so either. I'm just saying, like, the Steelers won, 11 in a row with Big Ben?
Yeah.
On one leg, you know, on two tendons.
Right.
So, like, anything can happen. And I think, you know, Dak's a regular season warrior. Think about not last season, but 2 seasons ago. He put up some pretty great statistics, you know. But so I think that regular season guy, he could have some success, at least passing for a lot. He's got CD. They got okay offense.
They have the weapons, for sure.
Yeah, so we'll see.
It's just the defense, I think, is a little bit more reliability, too, but they'll crash and burn like they always do.
Yep, they got mad drama going on over there, though, between, Micah Parsons and
they definitely had some off-season drama. I'm surprised he's still a Cowboy.
Yeah.
I didn't think he wanted to be. But...
Honestly, not a huge Micah Parsons fan. Big fan of his football game. But, dude, you can't be streaming on Twitch and talking shit about your teammates.
Yeah.
Come on.
So
How can anybody like playing with you?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. But no more streaming on Twitch for Micah Parsons, maybe, maybe not. But let's move on to some music, and then we'll get it wrapped up here, and we'll let you go on this glorious Tuesday night. So Grace and I got tickets, as we know, or Richmond residents. By the time this episode is released, the amphitheater will have been completed, and there will be shows over there. Yeah, hopefully. We all know how construction can go sometimes. But so I bought tickets to 2 shows. Okay. Grace and I are going to see James Taylor and Counting Crows are the 2 tickets that we bought. There are a couple other ones I was interested in, just not enough to spend money. I've always wanted to see James Taylor, so I had to cave on that one.
One of those with Charlie Crockett on the ticket?
I'm not sure.
I thought I saw that somewhere. But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I'm as excited as anybody for the new amp. As a lifelong Richmond resident, this has been a long time coming. We haven't had we have the National, which for listeners who don't know is a theater in Richmond that holds about 1,400 people, give or take. And we have the Richmond Coliseum, but it hasn't been operational since I think the last concert they had there was like 2017.
Before I've been in Richmond.
Yeah. So we don't have a legitimate stop for large touring acts until now, the Allianz Amphitheater. So I'm super thrilled for it.
Think Fish will come?
So that's
Coleman seems to think so. I'm like, I don't know, dude. I would love to see him there.
I don't think so. There was rumors about it this summer.
And we see that's probably not happening.
They already announced their summer tour and we got shafted. There's some speculation for some September dates, but the rumor mill, and keep in mind the rumor mill changes all the time, but the rumor mill is pointing to a 3-night residency at the Hampton Coliseum, the mothership. Which I would be equally as thrilled at because I fucking love that venue. It's probably my favorite venue in the world.
Do you stay at like a hotel nearby, Airbnb?
Yeah, man. Right there on Coliseum Boulevard, the hotels. Walk straight to the venue.
Love it.
It's one of my favorite places in the world, actually.
I haven't been to the Coliseum. I did see Kendrick Lamar outside at an outdoor venue in Virginia Beach.
Oh, like the Virginia Beach Amphitheater?
Yeah, probably.
I think it's what now, like the Veteran Home Loans Amphitheater.
I have no idea, but that was a number of years ago. I would love to go. I've never seen Fish. I've never seen Widespread Panic. 2 bands that I've really would love to go see.
So Widespread Panic, and just for back, I've seen that band more than any other band. By the time this airs, it'll probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of 75 shows, give or take. They were rumored to come to the amphitheater in September.
Really?
And apparently, and this is coming from someone who spends way too much time online message boards talking about this band.
Yep.
Oh, more time every day than I care to admit. Apparently it was all but a done deal for them to come to this new amphitheater in September. And rumor has it that they pulled out at the last minute once everything was close to being official because this new venue, it's a Live Nation venue, which is affiliated with Ticketmaster, Ticket Bastard as I call it.
Yep.
They're trying to force them to use, it's called surge pricing for their ticket sales. Basically meaning based off of demand, tickets will become more expensive in real time.
Yep.
Which is fucking horseshit. So part of me is a proud fan that they would stand up to do that. But my God, as somebody who hasn't had a hometown show since 2016, it's a real kick in the dick.
Where'd they play back then?
They played at the Altria Theater.
Really?
Yeah.
That's super cool. Yeah, that sucks though. Like, we'll spend 30 seconds talking about Live Nation and Ticketmaster for a second, but we don't need to breathe too much air on that subject. That sucks, dude. The James Taylor tickets were significantly more expensive than the Counting Crows because James Taylor's pulling a huge audience. Like, he's old, might not get to see him again. That's the only reason I bought the tickets, right? So you're right. It's horseshit. It's market manipulation. Honestly, antitrust their asses and get us back regular price tickets. That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah. It sucks.
That's why I love seeing the Disco Biscuits for $25 at the National or $30.
How many Disco Biscuits shows have you seen now?
Just 2, because that's the only amount of times they've been here.
Was it a 2-night run, or you saw them on 2 separate?
No,
occasions?
I saw them 2 separate occasions. So I saw them last fall and probably last late spring, early summer.
Those times they've come to Richmond the past 2 times.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Coleman took me the first time and I had a blast. So I was like, dude, please tell me the next time they come. I would love to go. And both times it was just him and I. We saw Firth, I think, both times.
Okay.
Classic. I feel like every show I'm at, I see Firth.
Oh yeah, you'll see him around Richmond for sure. He'd be a good guest to have on one of these days.
Yeah, I'll have to get him over here.
If
Maybe
you can nail
like
him down.
maybe like you, him, and Coleman or something like that. I want to get a Protect My Parks one going on. Once we got the coffee table, we can lay out a bunch of beers and just make our way through the pile.
Yeah. But no, yeah. As far as music's concerned, I've got a nice trip to a nice little jam band vacation, so to speak, coming
Nice.
the middle of April. So I'm flying to Seattle
Nice.
to catch the first 2 nights of Fish spring tour, Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle. Then I'm getting on a train to Portland, Oregon to catch a 1-night stop there on April 20th. Spend a couple of days back in Seattle doing a little bit of touristy shit.
Nice.
Then flying to Nashville for a 3-night run of Widespread Motherfucking Panic
Nice.
at the Ascend Amphitheater in Nashville.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
That sounds like so much fun. Now, that's awesome. Do you get like sabbatical or you're just PTO allows you to kind of do that?
Yeah, I'm PTOing.
Nice. We love that.
I took very little PTO all throughout this past year. So I've got like 3 weeks banked.
Nice. Hell yeah, dude.
So I need to use some. So yeah, took a full week plus a couple days. So I'm leaving on a Thursday afternoon, and then coming back the following Tuesday. Had to take that Monday off to
Rest and
recover.
recuperate, man. Yeah, of course. That's like, that's the one thing I wish I had more PTO for. I never can take the day after a vacation
Yeah, man,
off.
that's
kills me.
something I always prioritize. God, we were just on a trip to Austin, Texas.
Yes.
I don't know if you've discussed that on the pod or not.
I don't think I've had anybody that, had been on the trip. Maybe Bruce.
Yeah.
I had Bruce over, but we were just fucking around on the microphone.
But I did not take a day off. We got back fairly late. Did not take the day off after that trip.
That was brutal.
You saw the picture I sent to our group chat. That maybe you can flash on the screen here for the viewers if you're capable to.
Yeah,
Where
I'll pull it up. I'll make a note. I'll pull it up and put it in.
You can use that as my picture for the for this episode.
For the guest, yeah.
But yeah, it's rough. I need a day to rot after traveling.
Well, especially the excessive traveling that we did. We were up pretty late that final night, and I got up at 4:30.
Yeah, I'm still in total shock that you agreed to on your own free will and accord purchased a flight after that bachelor party.
I don't know if it
at
was my
6
free will and accord. It was my wallet. It was significantly more expensive.
Yeah,
because
no,
I didn't book the flights when you guys did.
Right,
I booked
right.
it later. So
no, on
it.
this trip, I'm just referencing when I'm coming back from Nashville after what will have been 6 shows in 10 days. The cheapest one by far was a 5 a.m. flight.
Yeah.
It was like $120.
Yeah.
I paid like close to $300 more to have a direct flight that left at like 12:30.
Yeah.
Than that. But
Comfort.
yeah, you're paying for comfort 100%. That's why I like to stay in nice hotels when I travel, and my days of couch surfing are hopefully mostly behind me. But it sucks at the time. But God, when you probably made it back to Richmond while the rest of us were all still in the Austin airport, you seemed like the biggest fucking genius in the world at that time.
Yeah.
What time did you get home from that trip?
4:00.
Oh God, never mind.
Yeah, it was the same time that you guys
Did you
got
have a
home.
layover?
Yeah, I did. I had a long layover at Charlotte. The worst part was
That's the worst airport, man.
the worst part. Yeah, it wasn't even that bad. The worst part, because the flight from Charlotte to here was pretty short, but the worst part was the longer flight in the morning from Austin to Charlotte. It was me and 2 other not small dudes in the very back row.
Full flight?
Full flight.
Oh.
And I'm in the window seat, and I'm like, I'm not a small person, so for those of you that might be listeners and don't know me personally, I'm just about 6'3". I'm like 225. I'm a big boy. So I'm like leaning up against the seat like this, trying to sleep.
Yeah, dude.
Hungover, like got the sweats. I'm farting because I got the beer farts.
Oh, who was
And
it?
yeah, and I'm like, dude, I feel bad for the guys sitting on the plane next to me,
Oh,
bro.
dude, you're leaving a party city. Everybody's in the exact same fucking boat. You should have smelled the fucking flight we were on with like 6 of us. We got lucky though. we got lucky. I lucky, but we went from Austin to Nashville, layover in Nashville, Richmond. So that did a good job of cutting it in half.
Yes.
So we didn't have like one super long flight. Nothing pisses me off more than having to go the wrong way for a layover.
Yes.
So like on our way there, we had to go to fucking Baltimore, Richmond to Baltimore, Baltimore to Austin.
That was my initial flight, and then I flew into Houston and then over instead.
Oh, you had a 2-stop?
No. So my initial flight was to, I don't know if it was to Dulles or BWI, and then it was direct to Austin. Okay. But instead, I guess because of the weather, they canceled my flight to BWI that morning. So they rebooked me on a flight to Austin. And that night, I'm looking at my ticket. I only have a ticket from Houston to Austin. I don't have a ticket
from Richmond to Houston.
And I'm like, oh, great. Like, cause I'm thinking like my ass on on my phone just clicked the wrong button and now I don't have a ticket. So I get there early, wake up at what, 3:30 or something for a 6 a.m. flight. I'm like, I need to get there, 30 minutes.
Our flight there was quite early as well.
Yeah, I was going to say 30 minutes early to deal with this ticket situation because I don't know if I even have a ticket to get to the airport. And I'm like, I'm going to freak out if I have to spend another $400, $500 to get there. I'm like, I'm here anyway, so I'm going to do it, but I would rather not. Ended up working out. The guy at the counter was super nice, and then I had to wait an extra 45 minutes.
So were you on the right flight? Or?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah, I got on my flight to...
So was it Richmond to Houston?
Richmond to Houston.
Houston to... Yeah, see, we went Richmond to...
you said BWI.
BWI, but we left it, we had to move it up a day early because it was big storms forecast in Richmond. The flight itself was like 19 minutes. But we spent an hour on the tarmac because of de-icing. Yeah. So we were like, God, we're going to fucking miss our connection. This is going to suck.
That too. The flights back were so much better because no de-icing at either airport. I felt like I was there for so much longer because of how long I was sitting in the plane.
Yeah, no, dude. But I've never been on a flight that actually, like, that short. They didn't even put the landing gear up there. Like, this is going to be a 19-minute hop over to... And we walked off the flight right onto the next one. Didn't miss anything. But
see, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, God. But yeah, you should have been on the flight with the larger group from Austin to Nashville to Richmond. That was some
that was Southwest though, so y'all got to sit next to each other.
Yeah, so everyone was producing just as much body odor and
see,
gases.
I wouldn't have felt as
all
bad
concentrated in one area.
I wouldn't have felt as bad if I knew you guys. It was worse because I was in the all the way on the edge, and I didn't know these guys. I couldn't go to the bathroom and take a shit.
From the strangers.
Yeah, I only get up once during the whole flight. I'm like, dude, I'm about to explode. I got to pee so bad. I'm not trying to get up and because both of them had to get out of their seat and both times, and I'm like, But man's got to do what he's got to do. Man, had to pee.
Yeah,
it's a 3.5 hour flight.
There's no.
I was chugging those. What is it? The body armor replenishers or whatever. The electrolyte drinks.
Electrolyte shits. You have to. I mean, there's just no secret life hack for flying, unfortunately. Pretty much sucks no matter what.
Yeah, I wish we invested more heavily in train infrastructure. Wouldn't mind a train.
That is something that I had gotten pretty interested in recently as well. We're pretty much the only country that doesn't have a viable speed train option. I mean, you go to Europe, Asia, anywhere. I mean, at one point there was a proposal for a East Coast speed train circuit from like the big hubs would have been like DC, New York, Philly, Chicago. But you could get from Richmond to, you have to stop in DC, but to New York City in like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
See, I'd love that.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of the train. Amtrak, love Amtrak. If I ever, as a Richmonder, I find myself going up to the DC area probably 4 or 5 times a year, maybe.
Sure.
Maybe a little less.
You take the Amtrak.
I take the Amtrak 100% of the time because if you buy it far enough in advance, I've gotten tickets for like $19.
Really?
Less than a tank of gas than you're going to have to spend. And yeah, like if you were to leave and be guaranteed no traffic, you can probably get there by car a little bit quicker. But the train is a reliable 2.5 hours. You're not going to have to sit in traffic.
You can be productive or do something.
Yeah, you can bring your laptop. You can do some work. You can drink in the bar cart. It's fucking fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm a huge proponent of the train.
Yeah, I haven't taken the train.
Not sure we would have been able to get to Texas there anytime quickly, but
yeah, I've never taken the Amtrak primarily because every time I look at it, it's too close to when I need to go.
And it's super expensive.
And it's super
It's like
expensive.
$79,
Yeah.
$80 usually.
And I'm like, I'd rather drive for
yeah,
half
but
that
it
cost.
also, like, depending on where you're going, like DC, or even if you keep going north to New York City, uh, the cost of parking in big cities is fucking
Fair.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, like, the way I look at it is, like, if you're paying to park even for one night, the trains, even at the last minute, is almost always going to be a cheaper option
Right.
because you're having to pay to park.
All that fun
And
stuff.
then, I mean, going back to paying for convenience, say it does end up being $30, $40 more than what the price of fuel would be. I'm happy to pay $30 to $40 to have the ability to sit on my ass in a comfy train seat and catch a buzz or check emails or whatever it may be.
whatever you might be
I
doing
mean,
that day.
it's honestly, like, if you get on in Richmond, it's usually not that crowded. You can get on straight to the bar, to the cafe cart, and you can have an entire, like, restaurant booth to yourself.
Okay, that's pretty gas.
So, like, with Coleman one time, we went up to DC, Widespread Panic shows at the MGM. I want to say it's 2019. I just got on the train, and each had one side of the of a booth to ourselves. Sat there the entire. I think you do have to buy like one drink every hour, so that's not a problem.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
doable.
No, I fucking love the train. Wish it was more accessible.
Yeah, we're not affiliated with Big Train, unfortunately. But I think we can kind of wrap it up shortly here. But I got to get in this little last note. I think that's due to a large majority of capitalism, roads, vehicle sales, infrastructure, like there's like repaving
100%.
plans. Like it's huge money that goes into maintaining these roadways. It's a ton of jobs, and
right. And there's more influence than you may think. Like the Richmond, like the downtown expressway, the toll road, that's owned by a fucking private equity firm in China.
Really?
Like the fucking like the actual road was financed by a private equity firm in China. So that's like when you pay the tolls, that's like where it goes. So they essentially they lease the road to the city of Richmond.
Wow.
To VDOT, Virginia Department of Transportation.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And the examples of that shit are much more common than you would think. So obviously, there's people whose pockets are getting lined to make deals like that. So just one example as to why trains will probably never be a viable option in the US, but
unfortunately, maybe one day. We'll leave the train talk behind. We'll wrap it up here. About an hour and a half. Appreciate you coming over. It's the first interview in person. We have done like a group thing before, but really appreciate D-Mills coming over, dude. That was an awesome conversation. Yeah, I think keynotes to take away. We'll get you on a sports room. We'll look at the book club too. We had 5 people on that last time. That was too many. Yeah. So maybe I'll do 2 of them, 2 separate groups. So that would be good. Because I think it's really important to get a lot of people's opinion about the same book, because so many people can look at the same, in our last case, The Old Man and the Sea, we were talking about 120 pages. Yeah. And all 5 of us looked at it completely different.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's people don't read as much as they should anymore. I enjoy reading. But yeah, it's always an interesting social experiment to see how different people perceive the same body of text.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great because it was short. It was a short book.
Yeah.
Everybody was able to comprehend everything, like not a really complex read. There wasn't too many underlying themes. And like, dude, we got like 15 minutes into it. And I think it was Coleman, actually. I'm editing it now. He's like, I just want to say this is like the best book I've read in this past year. And all the other 4 of us were like, oh my God, yeah, like me too. Like it was so good.
Did you not read it in high school?
I did not. So we had that same discussion. I think 3 out of the 5 of us had not read it in high school.
It's been a while. I could revisit, but I've written legendary papers on The Old Man and the Sea.
That's right. Yeah, if anybody needs another story, hit up D-Mills for the legendary Old Man and the Sea paper. Sure he's got it somewhere, maybe?
Fuck, my mom probably framed it. I wrote a paper on The Old Man and the Sea in 10th grade, and my English teacher said it was one of the best papers he's ever graded in his teaching career.
So that didn't make you want to become a writer?
I peaked in 10th grade. I always enjoyed writing, like in college. I took a lot of writing classes. Had several professors tell me I was pretty good at it, but
is that something you would ever explore? Would you write? Okay.
There's a difference between writing and creative writing.
Sure. Well, I mean, you could do nonfiction. I feel like that's more writing based, maybe, or
It's
no?
been a while.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll jump back into it soon.
Yeah. Those creative things are always fun. My buddy Graham is trying to write a book. Same with my buddy Luis. They're huge like fantasy heads, so I don't know what genres you typically like to read, but that's what we talk about.
I'm mostly my go-to. I do like fantasy on occasion. I'm a big courtroom drama, legal thriller
Yeah.
guy. John Grisham's probably.
I was gonna say,
my
yeah. I
favorite
picked up.
writer.
I have the Pelican Brief upstairs. I
Dude,
think I
incredible.
saw the movie, and then we were at like a
one of his best
thrift
for
shop
sure.
or something, and it was 99 cents, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
it's here. I have to get it.
Yeah, no, great. One of the best. I can make several recommendations. Maybe we can use one of his novels
For a book club. Yeah.
that'd be a good one.
There we go. You heard it here first. John Grisham Book Club. Maybe we'll even have him as a guest appearance.
Yeah, he's right down the road near Charlottesville.
Is he really?
Yeah, man. You see him courtside at all the UVA basketball games.
That's so funny.
Yeah, man,
I didn't know that.
He lives Albemarle County.
Perfect. I mean, even better.
Yeah.
Maybe a guest appearance. If we do enough John Grisham books, maybe he'll show up.
He'll have to. I can accost him at one of the basketball games this upcoming season.
There we go. Just slip a paper in your hand. Slanted Attic Experience. Just on like a business card or something. Yeah. All right, everybody. We're gonna wrap it up here. I'd like to give D Mills a big thank you. From all the listeners out there, all 32 of you right now that are followers on Spotify. I appreciate each and every one of you. D Mills, you're the man. Appreciate you coming over here, bro.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. Like I said again, we're working on video. That'll be up sometime in the future. D Mills will be back as a guest, so you get to see his lovely face on camera next time. But for those of you out there, you can find us on all your traditional podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Music. We're even on iHeartRadio. And then Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, at Slanted Attic. Thanks for listening, everybody. Stay tuned. We got episodes coming out bi-weekly Mondays, 10:30 a.m. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Appreciate D-Mills, baby. I had a special request to get the emote at some point, so I got to get that and put it on the page.
We could do the funny story about the emote, and this is the last thing I'll say before I'll shut up and get out of here. But
end credit scene.
Yeah, the emote. I'd never heard of the term emote, but I'm sure all the listeners have seen the viral videos with AJ and Big Justice, the double chunk chocolate cookie guy from TikTok. And I was shocked that Tyler had never seen the videos of them bringing the boom. We bring the boom. You've never seen those.
I had never seen those
everyone
videos.
Everyone else on that golf trip had seen it. So I hit a good drive, or I hit a good shot. I'm doing the boom dance, and I learned what emoting was, because apparently they draw striking similarities to one another. But yes, in leaving all the listeners right now, just note that I am doing the dance as we speak.
Yeah, we'll get it on. There we go. We'll get it on video. We'll put it out there. What I told.
We got a wedding coming up. That might be a good time.
Perfect, dude. Also, I do have a green screen, so at some point, what we need. I told Kyle this too when he was over. I said I need sound bites and I need like funny thing. You guys to do funny shit in front of the green screen, because I have a program. I can easily just crop it out, and you guys can do like funny shit in front of it. I think that would be hilarious to have up. We're watching one of my videos right now that we've got up. I think it's Mate's episode that released this week, but it's just got our photos, and I would love D-Mills to be dancing on the screen for a portion of it. I think that'd be hilarious.
That could be arranged.
Yeah, perfect. All right, bro. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Let's get out of here.